Oh, hi. I'm Eric Spornitz, and this is the vlog for June 4th. And as you can see, I'm reading through this new book I got called Dungeons and Dragons. It's a game rule book, although it's hardbound and cost $50. But it allows you to have fantastic adventures in realms of fantasy where you can plumb crypts for ancient treasure or fight dastardly monsters like goblins and giants. Oh boy. It's a bit archaic. Aside from the rulebook, the major tool you need is one of these. Some bits of paper that you can write down your character information on. And, of course, dice. Actually, a whole load of dice that I had to go back and buy from the game store place. Let's see if I can show these. It's awfully hard to show an open palm on camera, as it turns out. There we go. Okay, cool. Here we are. Okay. Now, when you create a character which you use to play in this game, you have to generate ability scores, which determine the basic characteristics of the character, from strength, dexterity, and constitution to mental abilities such as intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. If I remember correctly, let me consult my dictionary here. To generate the ability scores, you roll 4 6-sided dice and record the total of the highest 3 dice on a piece of scratch paper. Do this 5 more times so that you have 6 numbers. If you want to save time or don't like the idea of randomly determining ability scores, but I decided I wanted to do that, which is why I drove back down into Redmond tonight at about 8 o'clock just to buy 20-sided dice and a few other kinds. Let's see here. You can use these numbers. We're not going to do that. Now take your 6 numbers and write down each number beside one of your character's 6 things. Okay. So here we come to the crux of it. I want to roll numbers for my character that I'm going to make. But I want to be honest about it. And what's more honest way than doing it on camera? We're doing this live, and I never edit these things anyways, except for that one time when I did. So we're going to do it like this. I'm going to make sure I have the character sheet. Yes, that's right. Okay. Don't really know what kind of character I'm going to make just yet. Let's see exactly what the dice managed to give me. So I'm going to turn... So much for not editing. I accidentally hit the stop button. That's going to make this seem an awful lot less honest. You probably think that I just went and rolled a whole bunch of numbers that I didn't like, but I can assure you the paper is still blank and it's only been a few seconds. Now, since my mouse isn't hovering directly over the start and stop button, this should go a little bit more smoothly. Alright. So, this way, you should see the numbers that I'm going to roll. So I'm going to roll this 4 times, and I'm going to show off each one. Oh, well, that's great. That's a 1 to start. There's a 4. I should write this down. 1. That was a... Let's just do that one again. Oh, good. Another 1. So this character is already going to have 1 troublesome stat. There's the 4 that I had rolled previously. Oh, and a 6. So that would have been a great roll if I hadn't bungled it and written a 1 down instead. So, obviously, we're going to cross off one of these, and that is going to be an 11. Maybe that'll be my lucky dump stat or whatever. Okay, so next, Oh, that's better. It's a 5. Write it down. It's awfully time consuming. Let's see if I can keep this under 10 minutes, shall we? There's another 1. A 2. So this is also going to be not very good character or stat. And a 5. So that's better than last time. Cross that off. So now I have a 12. I get the sneaking suspicion this is going to be a very average character. Oh, 6. Maybe my luck is changing. 5. This is a very good number so far. All I have to do is not roll 3 or lower in the next 2, and I'm going to have a very powerful stat. So there's the 2. Of course, I shouldn't have jinxed it. And finally, oh, there we go. 5. So, if I cross out the 2 there, I have a score of 16 this time. That's a very good number. Okay, so this is for the 3rd. There's a 2. 5. Ooh, another 5. Finally, didn't count. And that was a 6 too. Oh, cool, 5. 15. Oh, so not bad so far. Okay. This is the 5th number. Ooh, 6 straight away. 4. Already doing very well. Ooh, 5. My luck is turning up. So if this is better than a 4, I am really doing well. Oh, nope, that's just a 2. So, cross that out, and I have another 15. And this is going to be for the last one. It's a 3. Another 3. Oh boy, if I roll all 3s here. 2 3s and 2 4s would be dead average. 4. And 3. All right, well. 3 3s and 1 4. I guess I'll cross off one of the 3s, and that gives me a score of 10, which is quite average, but not poor. So then, I really wish, of all the times to hit that stop button, that was the worst possible one. So, final numbers I ended up with, as you can see here, I got an 11, a 12, a 16, 2 15s, and a 10. So this character will excel in 3 different scores, but falls a little bit short in 3 others. So you could end up with a gruff but hardy fighter, or you could end up with a lithe and somewhat weak constituted monk or elf of some other class persuasion, or you could have a charming wizard with a tongue of gold but no biceps to speak of, which is all things considered pretty average. So I guess it's time to level. Dungeons & Dragons is not a new game to me. In fact, I think I may have mentioned it in some previous vlogs. But this is my first experience with the 5th edition of the game, which actually came out 4 years ago. I used to work for a game store, a game company called WizKids Games. WizKids was the creator of Mage Knight, as well as the HeroClix game, which ended up being their biggest success. They also made a miniature game of MechWarrior. But I didn't work for the company that invented the games. I worked for a storefront owned by the company's original creator, Jordan Wiseman. I worked as a sales clerk, and my job was to sell all these kinds of games to the sorts of people that played them, which were a very geeky, socially awkward sort of person, to be perfectly honest. And after years of dealing with that particular crowd, I was a bit soured on the games, the role-playing games especially, but the tabletop war games were also sort of difficult for me to find any kind of fun in, when the people I were playing with were always sort of entitled, pedantic, picky, just generally not fun to play with. But I can definitely still see the allure of creating these fantasy characters. For somebody that's not a writer, and I'm not by any means a real professional because I haven't published anything as of yet, the sort of the rules that allow you to create a character and rules that sort of encourage, what's the word I'm looking for? Encourage imagination, characterization. You think about things such as ideals that your characters have, flaws they have, bonds with other people or organizations. All this stuff is important in the character creation in the 5th edition, and it's always been sort of optional in the past, but I think the people that make these games are finally starting to realize this isn't ideal for purely stat crunching, mathematical estimation styles of gameplay, although you can play it that way. The people that keep getting drawn back to it are the people that are storytellers, that have a character and have a story for that character that they want to share with their friends, but maybe don't have the means to go out and publish as a book. And as such, I should probably be a little less harsh to those people, as long as they don't try and tell me about the time their level 30 paladin whooped the holy bejesus out of an orc colony and then list the magical items they looted in alphabetical order. I'm Eric Spornitz, and tomorrow will be better.